Welcome to my next new look rebuild or post-draft rebuild, whatever you want to call it, but today I'm using the Tennessee Titans. My rules are pretty simple. I have 3 seasons to win a Super Bowl, otherwise the rebuild is considered a failure. My first thought looking at this offense is we definitely need to rebuild this offensive line. They took Peter Skoronski in the first round. I did make him and Will Levis both a star depth trait, but we need a new left guard and a new center pretty quickly. They are both 68 overall. And then at wide receiver, we have 2 74 overalls on the outside. That is definitely not going to cut it. Over on defense, the defensive line doesn't look that bad, and we have a nice safety in Kevin Byard. We have Sean Murphy-Bunting as our number 1 corner. I don't really know how comfortable I feel with that at a 77 overall. And then our second middle linebacker definitely could be a little bit better as well. The first free agent I'm bringing in is a little bit older. Roger Saffold is 34 years old, probably going to retire after this season, but he is a scheme fit and a 77 overall left guard, so we're going to bring him in. I may have signed this guy in my last couple rebuilds too, but we're going to bring in center Ben Jones. He's 33 years old, but he's still an 82 overall, and he's a scheme fit, so we're going to go ahead and sign him. He's not a scheme fit, but Miles Jack is still an 82 overall superstar depth trait middle linebacker, so we're going to bring him in as well. We are also going to be signing Marcus Peters because, like I said, I don't really like having Sean Murphy-Bunting as my number 1 corner, so we'll bring him in. I don't believe he's going to be lighting up the field, but I think we need a little more help at wide receiver. One of the best ones available is Jarvis Landry at an 80 overall. The obvious star of this rebuild is quarterback Will Levis, who the Titans took at the very beginning of the second round, so we are going to look to trade away quarterback Ryan Tannehill. I try it every time and I'm completely shocked every time I do it, and I don't know why, but that get offers button that they put in this year is completely and totally broken. We could get Jerry Jeudy, a 4th round pick, and Traymon Smith. For the Browns, we could get Donovan Peoples-Jones and a 3rd round pick. I'm not going to do any of these just because it's a little broken. I feel like it's completely unrealistic. With the Commanders, I could get Daron Payne. That is insane. Finding a realistic trade partner for Ryan Tannehill is proving to be a little bit difficult because the lowest rated position groups are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield. I think this might be the most realistic space, because the next ones up are going to be the Atlanta Falcons, who have Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder, but they've said in real life they want to roll with Desmond Ridder. And then for the Packers, they have Jordan Love and Sean Clifford, who is a rookie out of Penn State, but they've also said in real life they're going to roll with Jordan Love. So I think the most realistic trade partner is probably Tampa Bay. Now, what is realistically Ryan Tannehill worth? I don't really think he's worth a first rounder. I could maybe see a 2nd rounder if they thought it would be like an immediate impact over Baker Mayfield. Personally, I like Baker more than Tannehill, but we'll offer a 2nd round pick or offer to see if they'll give us a 2nd round pick, and we'll see if they take Ryan Tannehill for that, and they will. So now we are free to use quarterback Will Levis, and the CPU won't try to bench him for any reason. I don't really know what my expectations are for season 1. In the last couple rebuilds, my expectations have been to get to like a conference championship, or at least the playoffs, and we failed to make the playoffs both times. But this time I'm using a rookie quarterback, and I understand it's going to be difficult to win a Super Bowl in 3 seasons when you start with a lower rated rookie quarterback. I'm hoping we can pull it off though, but this season let's just shoot for like 8, maybe 10 wins on like a high side. This is a pretty nice surprise. We end up winning 10 games and winning the division, so we head to the playoffs in the first season of this rebuild. We have the number 6 offense in the league and the number 20 defense. Points per game though on offense, we're number 23, and on defense, we're 22. Will Levis throws for a lot of yards and touchdowns here in his rookie season, but 21 interceptions. Running the ball, Derrick Henry only ran for 1,200 yards but got 14 touchdowns. Receiving, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 76 catches, 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. Jarvis Landry over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Traylon Burks got 8 touchdowns. I don't want to try to say their tight end's name, but he got 4 touchdowns. And over on defense, let's see, Miles Jack led the team in tackles. In sacks, Jeffrey Simmons got 12.5, and interceptions, Sean Murphy-Bunting led the team with 3. Trevor Lawrence ended up leading the league in passing yards with 5,200. What about touchdowns? That goes to Patrick Mahomes with 46, and interceptions goes to Will Levis. Not what you want to see, but he is a rookie. There are going to be some growing pains. Jonathan Taylor led the league with 1,600 yards, and touchdowns goes to Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon, who both ended up with 20. Receiving, Cooper Kupp with 146 receptions, 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns, but leading the league in touchdowns is going to be George Pickens with 17. Here is the playoff bracket. We ended up as the 4 seed. We get to take on the 5 seed Buffalo Bills. We are able to escape out of the wildcard round though by beating Buffalo 24-12. Will Levis did not play great, but we got the win. 24 for 38, 319 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. But he played better than Josh Allen. 22 for 36, no touchdowns but 3 interceptions. Apparently Malik Willis came in and threw a pass for 2 yards. Derrick Henry led the game in rushing yards with 63 yards and a touchdown. And receiving, it looks like that goes to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 5 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. In the next round of the playoffs, we get to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who went 9-8 in the regular season. Obviously, I think that would be a massive shock if that happened in real life, but let's jump into this game. We will actually jump in and watch some of this game because we are down by 3 with under 3 minutes to go in Kansas City territory. Levis out of shotgun will throw downfield, and that is incomplete. That brings up a 2nd and 10. Levis lines up in shotgun again. Derrick Henry is in the backfield. He'll take the snap and looks to pass. Steps up in the pocket, now goes downfield, and that is caught at about the 10-yard line. Just a little over 2 minutes to go here in the game. Levis back in shotgun. Henry is the running back. He will send him out wide. That may take us to the 2-minute warning since he did that. Can he get the snap off in time? Yes, he can. One more play. Levis standing back in the pocket will throw to the outside. That is caught. Who break a tackle inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. We take the lead. We jump into the Chiefs' next drive with 30 seconds to go. They still have all 3 timeouts, but he's getting sacked on the first play we see for a loss of 5. That brings up 4th and 9. They don't burn a timeout. Mahomes takes the snap, looks to go deep, goes deep downfield, and that's incomplete. We are headed to the AFC Championship game. Alright, y'all be honest. How many of y'all really thought I was going to make the AFC Championship game with Will Levis as a rookie quarterback? This has been absolutely insane so far. Will Levis played a lot better here in this round of the playoffs. 22 for 38, 265 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Patrick Mahomes 28 for 45, 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry runs for 151 yards and a score. Receiving, it looks like the leader was Kadarius Toney, 7 for 87, and Richie James 5 for 95 and a touchdown if I can talk. Travis Kelce also caught 2 touchdowns. Who caught our touchdowns? The tight end that I can't say his name, and then the backup tight end, Josh Weil. In the AFC Championship, we will get to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, who ended up as the 1 seed. The NFC Championship is Philadelphia against Carolina. Before I jump into this game, I want to show you guys that the Las Vegas Raiders, with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, finished the season 16-1. But it does not matter that they only lost 1 game on the entire season because they lose in the AFC Championship 44-37. The final score looks close, but they got a garbage time touchdown in the last minute to kind of make it a 1-score game. But we upset the Raiders and are headed to the Super Bowl here in Will Levis's rookie season. Levis goes 21 for 34 for 362 yards, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. Jimmy Garoppolo 25 for 43, 329 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. On the ground, Derrick Henry ran for 99 yards and 2 scores. Josh Jacobs also ran in for 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams 10 for 167, Hunter Renfrow 8 for 83 and a touchdown. But Nick Westbrook-Ikhine 4 for 147 and 2 touchdowns. The Super Bowl will be between a battle of rookie quarterbacks as Bryce Young has led the Panthers to the Super Bowl along with Will Levis leading the Titans to the Super Bowl. Well, obviously it would be pretty massive if we can win the Super Bowl here in season 1 of this rebuild. The last 2 seasons we'll pretty much just be playing with house money. It won't matter what I do. It's already a success if we can win this game. We will jump in here with 3.5 minutes to go in the game. It is 26-24. We are trying to add to our lead here. 3rd and 9 from their 29-yard line. Levis will take the snap and go downfield. That is caught for the first down by Westbrook-Ikhine. I lied, that was actually Traylon Burks, but now 1st and 10 from the 14. Levis in shotgun. Henry is the running back. We are letting the clock run down a lot here. Take the snap and look to pass. Levis goes downfield. That is caught. This time it's Westbrook-Ikhine for the first down. That play would take us down to the 2-minute warning. So now 1st and goal from the 4 with 2 minutes to go in the game. We give it to Derrick Henry, who goes to the outside, and he will get brought down at about the 1. And Carolina will burn their first time out. Levis back in shotgun. From inside the 1-yard line, he gives it to Derrick Henry, who goes up the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. Bryce Young and the Panthers face a 3rd and 10 trying to pull off a miracle from their own 25-yard line. Out of a 5-wide set, he'll take the snap, dance around the pocket. He's going to get sacked on the play back at the 20 by Jeffrey Simmons, and that will bring up a 4th and 15. Game is on the line. They only have 1 timeout remaining. Young in shotgun will take the snap and look to pass. He launches it deep downfield. There is nobody there, and the Titans are going to take over. So we managed to take home the Super Bowl trophy in Season 1 of this rebuild in the battle of rookie quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. So now, like I said at the beginning of the game, I really just get to play with house money. We're going to see if we can pull off a repeat or even maybe a three-peat here. Will Levis goes 30 for 46, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Bryce Young, 17 for 30, 264, and 3 touchdowns. No one could really do anything on the ground. Derrick Henry was able to find the end zone twice. And then receiving, there are a lot of good stats here. Our tight end, 9 for 116 in a score. Traylon Burks, 8 for 113. DJ Chark, 6 for 117 and 2 scores. And Nick Westbrook-Akine, 6 for 80 and a touchdown. On the season recap screen, it shows that Will Levis won Super Bowl MVP. The NFL MVP goes to Jacoby Brissett. Coach of the Year goes to Josh McDaniels. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Cooper Kupp. Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to George Pickens, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Trayvon Walker. I really can't do anything about that using the updated rosters. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything in Madden 23 about it at least. We have $121 million in cap space, only 18 players ready to negotiate their contracts here. Marcus Peters wants to come back, Miles Jack wants to come back, and Jarvis Landry kind of wants to come back. We're probably going to focus on these two though, and then we'll let everyone else probably hit free agency. I'm going to offer this 1-year deal to Marcus Peters, and we'll see if he takes it, and he will be back next season. We're going to offer Miles Jack this 4-year contract and see if he will re-sign with us, and he is glad to be coming back. I would try to bring back Nick Westbrook-Akine. He had a great season, but he has very low interest, still not a high overall. We'll look in free agency and see if there's anyone that can replace him. The only other person I'm thinking about bringing back is Tyre Tart. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right, but everyone else will probably just be walking. Tart is wanting about $8.5 million a year. I am not willing to do that for a 79 overall defensive tackle, so we're going to wait and see in free agency if there's anyone better. Looking at the offense before we go into free agency, I still feel like I want to look at wide receiver, especially because we just lost Nick Westbrook-Akine. I want to see if we can get a solid wide receiver 1, maybe a better tight end, and we're still looking to upgrade the offensive line a little bit. I actually really like the way the defense has progressed here. We need to get a new defensive tackle to go in the middle, and maybe a new left outside linebacker, possibly a corner, but Marcus Peters and Sean Murphy-Bunting seem to be a pretty good pair. Here are the 5 contracts I have offered in free agency. The first one is the outside linebacker Josh Allen. Now his interest in coming here is pretty low, but we are currently his top offer. Also offering a contract to William Jackson at corner. Running back Raheem Mostert to back up Derrick Henry, wide receiver Jarvis Landry, just because the only other one left was Michael Thomas, and he wants like a 4-year contract even though he's old. I'm not willing to do that. And then defensive tackle Daquan Jones. Let's see if any of these guys are going to take the offer here in round 1. Everyone has signed except Josh Allen. They have all signed with us. All I've done here is up the offer for Josh Allen, so let's see if he takes it here in stage 2. And he is still here. What about one more stage? We're still his top offer, and he's still waiting here. Josh Allen really does not want to come play for us. I upped the offer a little bit more. We're going to advance to the next stage and see if he finally signs. Josh Allen is now officially a Tennessee Titan. We had to pay him a lot of money, but I feel like we got a very, very good player. Here are the draft picks we will have going into the upcoming draft. If you've never seen any of my rebuilds before, the way I do the draft is I only pick the first 3 rounds, and then I let the computer take over from there. 1, because I'm horrible at drafting in the later rounds, and 2, it feels like luck anyway, so I just let the computer take over. I legitimately don't think I've ever seen this in Madden 23. The Dallas Cowboys ended up as the worst team in the league and have the #1 overall pick. And with that pick, they are going to take left tackle Eddie Winkler out of LSU. With our first round pick here, I'm actually going to trade it away to the Patriots, fall back 5 spots, and pick up a 4th rounder in this draft. With that pick here in the 2nd round, I'm going to take left guard Sean Westbrook out of Ole Miss, and he will come in with a hidden dev trade. This player might end up being a little bit of a reach, but with the 19th pick here in the 2nd round, this is the pick we got for Ryan Tannehill to go to Tampa Bay. We're going to take wide receiver Marcus Edison out of Florida State, and he will come in as a hidden dev trade as well. At the end of the 2nd round here, I'm going to take tight end Alan Choice out of Ohio State. He has A catching, B deep route, one of the fastest tight ends in his class. We'll take him, and he will come in with a normal dev trade. At the end of the third round, I'm going to take another receiver. This time it's going to be wide receiver Brandon Hatchett out of Ferris State. He has B deep route, one of the fastest receivers in the class. We're going to see if he can develop into anything, and he will come in with a normal depth trait. We ended up taking a 73 overall left guard, a 73 overall wide receiver, a 66 overall tight end, not my best draft pick, a 71 overall receiver, a 67 overall defensive tackle, a 68 overall left end, and a 64 overall corner. The best player in the draft was a right tackle that the Texans took with the 4th overall pick. Here is your offense as we try to repeat as Super Bowl champions, obviously still led by Will Levis, who is now a 75 overall. I still wish I was able to find a better receiver in free agency. I looked around the league but did not find a trade partner that I really liked. On defense, we added Daquan Jones in free agency, but more notably, we added Josh Allen as our outside linebacker. Hopefully this defense is even better than it was last season. My expectations for season 1 were completely demolished by this team. I thought we'd only win 8 games, maybe get in as a wild card. We ended up winning 10 games, winning the division, and then going on a run to win the Super Bowl. So obviously the goal this season is to get back there and repeat as Super Bowl champions. We do manage to win the division again, but this time we go 9-8, but we're still in the playoffs. We still have a chance to defend our championship. We finished as the 14th best offense in the league, but the 20th best defense, the 19th offense in points per game, and the 26th defense in points per game. Will Levis throws for a little over 4,800 yards, 30 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. On the ground, Derrick Henry barely gets over 1,000 yards, but does get 13 touchdowns. Receiving, Jarvis Landry, 1,300 yards and 6 scores. Kyle Phillips, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Our tight end got 4. Traylon Burks got 8. Did our rookie receiver do anything? 2 catches for 20 yards. I'm assuming he got buried on the depth chart behind Kyle Phillips. Miles Jack led the team in tackles with 134 in sacks. Jeffrey Simmons got 14. Josh Allen got 12.5. Danico Autry got 9.5. And interceptions, Marcus Peters led the team with 4. Mahomes leads the league in passing yards this season. What about touchdowns? That goes to Jared Goff with 42. Interceptions goes to Jalen Hurts, who threw 18 of them. On the ground, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing yards with 1,600 and in touchdowns with 23. Receiving, Cooper Kupp led the league in receptions and yards. What about touchdowns? That goes to Devontae Smith, who got 15. We get in as the 4 seed yet again, and this time we get to take on the 5 seed Cincinnati Bengals. We will not repeat as Super Bowl champions this season. We get bounced out in the wild card round 38-3. We got completely and totally dominated in this game. Will Levis had a horrible game, 12 for 25, 98 yards and 3 interceptions. Joe Burrow goes for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running the ball, Joe Mixon ran for 88 yards. Receiving, Jamar Chase 9 for 117, T. Higgins 6 for 63 and a score, Tyler Boyd 5 for 71 and a touchdown. This year's Super Bowl goes to the Green Bay Packers over Buffalo 27-24, led by Super Bowl MVP Rashawn Gary. The NFL MVP is Lamar Jackson. Coach of the Year is Jay Gordon for the Jets, whoever that is. Offensive Player of the Year is Cooper Kupp. Defensive Player of the Year is Aiden Hutchinson. Offensive Rookie of the Year is a quarterback in Seattle, and Defensive Rookie of the Year is a defensive tackle in Arizona. And I really thought that quarterback in Seattle's name was Alex Moran, as like a weird reference to Blue Mountain State, but it's Alex Mahan apparently. Heading into the final offseason of this rebuild, we have $162 million in cap space, so obviously a lot of money to spend to try to build up for this final season. The first contract is going to Derrick Henry, a 3-year offer. He has a lot of interest in coming back, and he is going to be testing free agency. Wow, thanks EA. I am not risking Jeffrey Simmons going to free agency. He has a lot of interest in coming back as well. I'm offering him the player-friendly contract, and he has re-signed. How about Marcus Peters on another 1-year contract to return, and he will also be back. Everyone else will be going to free agency. Obviously, the main thing we're going to focus on is trying to get back Derrick Henry. Aside from Derrick Henry at running back, we also need to look at wide receivers and possibly a center, because I don't think Westbrook can play both guard and center. On the defensive side, I think the main upgrade we need here is at left end and defensive tackle. Well, I've got a lot of money to throw around, and that's exactly what I've done. Running back Derrick Henry has gotten a contract offer along with wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, defensive tackle Ed Oliver, wide receiver Curtis Samuel, and tight end Cole Kmet. Let's see if any of these guys are going to sign here in the first stage. They are all gone because they have all signed with us except for one player, and that is Cole Kmet, who now has a lot more interest in him. I've now also thrown a contract at defensive back Rasul Douglas, tight end Cole Kmet, and then center Mark Glowinski. Let's see if any of these guys are going to sign here in stage 2. They are all gone. We end up getting Mark Glowinski and Rasul Douglas, but we don't get Cole Kmet. Going into the draft, we have all of our own picks here, so I haven't made any trades yet, but I'm definitely going to be making some trades during the draft. The Saints have the number 1 pick in this draft. Let's see where they go with it. With the first pick, they end up taking quarterback Connor West out of Vanderbilt. With our first round pick, I'm going to take wide receiver Jimmy Buckner here out of UCF. B, catch in traffic, A, deep route, C, release. He's the second fastest receiver in his class. We're going to take Buckner. He comes in with a normal dev trait. That is not what I wanted to see. For the second round pick, we are actually just going to make a trade. I have traded this second round pick to the Giants for tight end Darren Waller. In the third round, I'm going to take left guard John Tarpley. I think he's just the best lineman left available, so we're going to take him. He will come in with a hidden dev trade. The receiver I took in the 5th round is a 75 overall, so he's not a bad pick. He just doesn't have a hidden dev trait, which does suck. Then we got a 73 overall guard, a 68 overall running back, a 66 overall middle linebacker, a 66 overall corner, and a 63 overall left tackle. The best player in the draft was Luke Robinson, a running back that the Giants took in the 2nd round. One more trade I'm going to make before I simulate the final season is I'm trading for defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah. I did not find a left end in free agency or the draft that I really like, so we're going to get one now. I'm adding one more receiver to the team. We have traded a 1st and a 3rd round pick to the Chargers for wide receiver Mike Williams. With that trade, here is your final offense for Season 3 of this rebuild. We now have Will Levis as a 77 overall. We've added Darren Waller, Mike Williams, Curtis Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk to this team. On defense, we just traded for Emmanuel Ogbah to beef up our defensive line a little bit. We have Ed Oliver at defensive tackle that we got in free agency. Hopefully we can make another run back to the Super Bowl. Before I simulate this season, we are an 83 overall offense, an 87 overall defense, and an 84 overall team. And in week 1, we apparently get to take on Justin Herbert and the New England Patriots. I like to give my season expectations whenever I'm simulating the season here for a little bit, but really the only expectation there is here is to win a Super Bowl. We won one in Season 1. We lost in the wildcard round of Season 2. Let's see if we can get back and win 2 Super Bowls in 3 seasons. We do manage to win the division for the 3rd straight year. We get back into the playoffs. We have the number 7 offense in the league and the number 11 defense, so this is the best team we have built so far. Will Levis throws for almost 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. On the ground, Derrick Henry runs for 23 touchdowns. Receiving, Brandon Ayuk, 96 catches, 1,400 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Mike Williams got 8 touchdowns. Darren Waller got 7. What about defense? Miles Jack led the team in tackles with 115. In sacks, Emmanuel Ogbah led the team with 12.5. Josh Allen got 10.5. Jeffrey Simmons got 10. And interceptions goes to Marcus Peters with 4. Joe Burrow led the league in passing yards with 5,500. Touchdowns goes to Burrow as well with 44. And interceptions goes to Brad Kovacs, a quarterback for the Giants. Running the ball, Jonathan Taylor with 1,600 yards leads the league there. But touchdowns goes to Derrick Henry with his 23 of them. Receiving, Cooper Kupp leads the league in receptions and yards. What about touchdowns? That goes to Justin Jefferson with 19. For the 3rd straight year, we get in as the 4 seed, but this time we'll take on the 5 seed Baltimore Ravens. Sadly, however, we won't be going back to the Super Bowl. We have lost in the wildcard round for a 2nd straight season. This time the final score is 28-21, so at least it wasn't a complete and total blowout. Your Super Bowl champion here in the final season of this rebuild is the Cincinnati Bengals, led by Joe Burrow by a final score of 35-14 over Chicago. Well, we managed to win a Super Bowl in Season 1, and I feel like we were a pretty competitive team the entire time, but one Super Bowl, it's still considered a success. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you next time.